But before we get into this video, make sure you go down there, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel because I know y'all watching. I see the analytics, okay? So you might as well subscribe and join the tribe. As you can tell by the title of this video and the way your girl is slayed, okay, I did my big one, okay? Y'all need not to play with me because I really do this hair makeup stuff, okay? But yes, in this video, I'm going to be doing my hair, how I apply my lace frontal wig, and I'm going to be getting into a little bit of details about how I got my very first apartment, how I got approved, how I saved money, and just everything like that. And then I also, like I said, did my hair. But before I show you how I did my hair and, just some details about what I did to move into my first apartment, I want to mention that I think I forgot to say that the main key, the most important thing you should remember about this video and about, moving into your first apartment, getting approved and all of that, is to make sure you save money. I went over a lot of things, but I think I forgot to mention that the thing that helped me the most was to save your money. Okay, before I started doing all the research, I'll get into it later, a lot of people were saying like, oh, like I just moved with $1 in a dream, and that could work for some people, but for me, I knew that that wasn't really realistic. I knew that's not how I wanted to move, so I just made sure that I saved my money. And the main reason, or the main way I was able to do that, was my last job. One of my last jobs, I got paid weekly. So every time I would get a paycheck, I would literally save half the paycheck towards my moving fund, and then the other half I would, have for myself. Granted, I didn't have a lot of bills. I don't have a lot of responsibilities. So I was able to do that. So like if you have, kids, maybe you have a husband, wife, whatever, and you don't have a lot of money to save, or you don't have a lot of opportunity to save, make sure you make it a priority to just try to put something away in order to meet your goal of saving money for that month. While I'm mentioning that, I do want to say that that is another reason how I got to save. So every month I would make a goal for myself. Okay, this month, every month I want to save $1,000. So what do I have to do to save $1,000? I would take, 4 weeks divided by how much money that would have to be. And I would make sure that every single week I was saving that amount of money in order to, have $1,000 at the end of the month. It worked out. I was able to, I think I saved, I'm not going to tell y'all how much money I saved, but I was able to save a lot of money. Okay, like I said, my goal was $1,000 a month, and literally half my paycheck every single week, stash it away. And for me, it was like out of sight, out of mind. So I would take the money, I wouldn't put in a savings account. I would literally do a cash stuffing method where you take some money, put it in an envelope, or a little folder, and you set it to the side. So what I did was, took my money out every single week, and I would literally hide it from myself. I would put it in an envelope and hide it, because in my mind, it's if I don't see the money, if I know that I don't really have easy access to it, then it will be harder for me to go spend it. So that was a major key for me in saving money. What else did I do? I literally cut down on all things that were unnecessary. So certain subscriptions, I'm really big on, buying something and don't really need it. So I just really went through all my finances and saw okay, I don't go to the gym that much. I could cut out Planet Fitness, or, I'm not watching, Hulu. I only watch Netflix. Cut that out. You know what I mean? I was just able to really go through my finances, see what I used the most, see what I didn't. And yeah, I was able to make it happen. So I think that's all I wanted to mention before we get into it. Yeah, that's basically it. Make sure you save money, and then all the other steps that I talked about, make sure, you write those down and you implement. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is really the key, okay? So it don't matter what you know, but you gotta make sure you use that to your advantage. Interested in what I have to say and how I do my hair, keep on watching and make sure you are subscribed. Love you so much. See you when I see you. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna just get straight into the video. Like I said in my intro, this is going to be a get ready with me where I show you how I install my wigs and a little you know, conversation about how I was able to get my very first luxury apartment. Okay, and so first thing I like to do when I'm doing my hair is secure the edges. Okay, so I'm gonna just put like some edge control on my edges to slick them back and out the way. You don't have to do this. This is not like necessary. I don't even really see people do this part, but I like to do it because, like I said, I like to make sure my edges are out the way completely. So just take any type of edge control that you have and slick it, slick it, slick it. Okay. Okay. And then I'm gonna just oil my scalp really quickly. I'm just using jojoba oil by Trader Joe's. And I'm just gonna oil my scalp and my hair. I don't plan to wear this wig a long time, but you know, I do want it to like last longer than, you know, like a day or so. Usually when I do my wigs, I only wear it for a day and I take it off. How I usually do it, I do it the glueless way, where you just take some Got2b spray and the glue. I just take my Got2b spray and the gel, and I just use this to lay my wig on, and you know, it'll stay, but not for a long time. Like it will wash off, you know, whenever I go to wash my face. So that's usually like, you know, how I wear them. But I want to do the bald cap method and, you know, glue it down so that way my wig stays on longer. Okay. And so usually people do like a lighter color bald cap, but I feel like it just makes more sense to do one that matches your skin tone. You know, like, yes, you put makeup. Yes, you could put makeup to match, but like, I don't know, I feel like that could be extra work. And this is not a tutorial. This is just me doing my hair right now. So I'm about to get into how I got my apartment. It seems like those videos, those videos are doing really good on my channel, which I'm so, you know, thankful for. And I get a lot of questions in the comments about like can I post or can I tour like different type of apartments, you know, or just, I don't know, I just get like a lot of different questions about like apartment hunting now. And I just want to say that I am not a realtor. I am not an apartment locator. I literally did those videos because I myself was in the market of, you know, looking for somewhere to stay in an apartment. So that's, you know, what I made videos about, but no way, shape, and form, you know, like an expert at finding an apartment. But I do want to give you guys some hints and tricks, I guess, that I was able to use and incorporate when I was looking for my own. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And so I do have notes as well. So if you see me like look down or over, I'm just, you know, looking at my notes. But today we're doing something different. Okay. So before I blow dry this to dry it, I do want to get into the conversation. So there are a lot of things that, you know, I took into consideration when I was looking into getting my first apartment. And the first thing I want to say, first thing I want to really like mention and like put out there is that like you really need to know what your long-term goals are. I feel like a lot of people talk about like goal setting and like just, you know, hitting certain accomplishments, and I feel like that really needs to be, you know, like on the top of your list when you are looking for an apartment, or if you're looking to move, or any big change in your life. Like you really need to take the time to sit down and write out what your goals are. Where do you see yourself long term? Where do you see yourself in 6 months? Where do you see yourself in a few months? You know, like really take the time to know what you want for yourself. That's one thing I did, was I kept a journal, I kept a notebook, and I literally just manifested, you know, where I saw myself and how I wanted, you know, my desired lifestyle. Basically, I knew that, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I like hair, I like beauty, I like makeup. You know, I want to be a hairstylist, I want to be a lash tech, I want to be that girl making money, having clients, booked and busy. Like that was just the lifestyle that I saw for myself and that I wanted. So I just made sure to, you know, be able to position myself where I could see myself grow the most. And I knew that me moving into my first apartment, it would allow me to get a little uncomfortable. It would allow me to kind of change my habits, my circumstances, so that way I can position myself to, you know, be able to receive those new blessings and be able to, you know, work towards my goals. Okay, so first things first, if you're writing down, you know, what you should do is write down your long-term goals and what your desired lifestyle is and where you basically see yourself. Okay. So this is pretty much drying up now. Make a list of desired places you can actually see yourself. So this kind of ties back into like knowing your desired lifestyle and knowing your goals. For me, I knew that I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to sell my products. I want to have clients. So I need to move somewhere where I can grow my clientele. I want to move somewhere where I can, you know, be around people who do the same things as I do, so that way we can collaborate or we can, you know, network. And so, you know, just being able to grow my business was really important to me. So I made sure I, you know, was going to move in a place that was going to allow me to grow my business. And that is something, you know, you should look into if that is important to you. You know, like if you have a business, or maybe you don't have a business, maybe you're not an entrepreneur, but maybe you have kids and you want your kids to have a better lifestyle, you know, look into areas that have good schools. You want to look at areas where, you know, it will be desired for you to raise a family. So those are, you know, these scissors are not cutting it at all. Let me see. Oh no, okay, BRB. Make sure you are looking at places that, you know, is gonna allow you to live your desired lifestyle. So now let's get into the whole research of actually finding a place, okay? Luckily, I already knew I was moving to Texas and that I had family here, so it made it really easy for me to like research, because I had people who live here that could, you know, help me and tell me like what areas and, you know, all of that. But if you don't have anyone who, you know, live in the area that you're moving to, make sure you join Facebook groups. Make sure you go on Instagram and search for hashtags. Make sure you get on YouTube and you know, search Dallas lifestyle, Houston lifestyle, Los Angeles, New York, wherever you plan on moving to. Just make sure you do your research about, you know, basically what it's like to live in that place, because, you know, you don't want to be moving somewhere and it's similar to what you're trying to get away from. You know what I mean? Like if you're from the hood and you're trying to move to a better area, you don't want to be moving to somebody else's hood. You know what I mean? So just make sure you are doing, you know, good, thorough research. you know, the internet is a great place to start if you don't know people in that area already. And yeah, like search on the internet what it's like, what is there to do, what's the population, where are the schools, where are the libraries. You know, just make sure you are doing your research to find out, you know, what it would be like to be a resident there. Want to go and visit. So let's say, you know, you're from California and you want to move to Texas, right? Let's say you're in my situation. But let's say you don't maybe have family who live in that area you're moving to. Definitely take a visit. Definitely go check it out to see what it's like to live there, you know. But when you go to visit, don't go to the local touristy spots, or don't go to the touristy spots where everybody goes to when they are, you know, traveling. Make sure you go to the local spots where, you know, the residents go. You know, make sure you go to the Trader Joe's in that area. Make sure you know, like I said, where the library is, where the schools are, you know, to really help you make a decision on if you can see yourself there, right? So not only are you doing research online to figure out, you know, what area you want to live in, but you also want to go and visit in person. Okay, so now that you've done your research and you know what area, you know, you want to move to, maybe you've even, you know, had a chance to go and visit. Now let's talk about, you know, the financial part. How are you going to be able to afford that? Is your credit good? You know, because a lot of these apartments, especially newer apartments, they're checking, you know, your credit score to make sure you can actually afford to live there, which is really crazy because we all know that, credit is king, let's be real, but a lot of people weren't taught about credit until it was too late. So, you know, if your credit is messed up or bad, there are some ways you can get around that, which I am going to mention a few. So one of the ways you can get approved for an apartment if your credit is bad, for say, is to, of course, get a cosigner. And honestly, truly, I'm not about that life. Like, don't ask me to be a cosigner. I'm not about to ask you to be a cosigner. You know, like, that's just my views on it personally. But that is an option. If you do have someone that will look out for you to be a cosigner and, you know, be willing to basically put their life on the line for you to get your apartment, then, you know, go ahead and, you know, do it that way. If you don't have a cosigner, there are companies out there, I believe they're called guarantor services, and they allow you have to pay them, of course, but they allow you to use them as like a cosigner. And, you know, they'll vouch for you. Companies that allow you to use them as a cosigner, I don't know any personally. I did hear someone on YouTube mention Leap Easy and Liberty Rent. So if you are interested in getting a cosigner, but you want, like, you know, to pay someone to do it for you, look into Liberty Rent or Leap Easy. Those are the two companies that I saw someone talk about in a YouTube video. Okay, so let's just say, you know, maybe you don't need a cosigner. Your credit is still a little bad for whatever reason. Really look into an apartment who do not do credit checks. Okay, it might sound a little unheard of, but there are some out there who, you know, don't require it. You just really got to do your research and find those. I know there are also apartments out there who do like second chances. So like if you have evictions or whatever, you know, just do your research and find an apartment that will allow like second chance renters. I would also recommend even like putting together like a little resume to show like how, you know, trustworthy and like reliable you are when it comes to, you know, just being able to do whatever it takes to get the apartment is what I'm trying to say. Okay, if you need a cosigner but you don't have anyone personally, you know, there's a company for that. If you have bad credit, look for apartments that don't have credit checks, you know. If you are able to negotiate and talk with the leasing manager or whoever to just, you know, give you a chance, but, you know, put together a nice proposed put together a nice proposed you know, portfolio resume to show, you know, that you're trustworthy. Maybe give a bigger deposit. There are a lot of things you can do to work around not having good credit, but just remember that that is key. And if that's something that, you know, you want to do, move out, get your own place, make sure you are working on your credit ahead of time. What I did was I kind of messed up my credit early on. So once I really got serious about moving out and finding my own place, I, you know, of course, started to pay my bills on time, and that really helped my credit score. But then I also got it's called the extra. It's called an extra card, and it's basically like a prepaid debit card. But whenever you use it, they report the transactions to the credit bureau, right? So let's say I go to Target and I swipe this little prepaid debit card. You know, it'll go through, and then the transaction from Target will report at the end of the month to the credit bureau as like a loan. So I feel like that's really been helping as well. And also to that card, the extra card, is linked to your bank account, right? So whenever, if you have money in your bank account and you swipe, instead of swiping your debit card, you swipe the extra card, and the extra card takes money from your bank account. And like I said, they report it to the credit bureau. And I feel like that's been helping me, you know, that helped improve my credit, because instead of getting like an actual credit card or getting a loan, to like have some good, you know, stuff on there, I was able to do that, and I feel like it worked. I still have it, I still use it. I do have to pay, I think, like $8 a month to use it, but I feel like it's worth it because, you know, I only use it to put gas in my car, and you know, those $30, $40, $50 transactions report to the credit bureau as, you know, that I'm trustworthy, that I'm building my credit. So keep that in mind. App Self, or is it called Self? Yeah, Self, the app. I heard of it, but I haven't really used it. But definitely look into it, and it's basically an app that helps you build your credit, you know. So moral of the story is, you want to do something that is going to allow you to build your credit. Next thing I'm gonna do is put my wig on. I think my bald cap is, you know, pretty good. My wig that I'm using, it is, I don't even know how many inches this is, but I made this wig, I want to say maybe like 2 years ago. I make all my wigs. What I do is I buy bundles. I'll get a sew-in, and then after the sew-in, I will make my own wig out of it. This is how the wig looks. I hand sewed the wefts on there. Okay, this is a regular black stocking, not stocking cap, like a wig cap. And then I sewed the frontal on there, as you can see. And then, you know, hand sewed. I do want to learn how to like use a sewing machine to make my wigs, but you know, I hand sew. So yeah, this is the hair. I don't remember where I got the hair from, but I'm about to put this on and finish my hair up. Oh, but before I put my wig on, I wanted to tint my lace. A lot of people, I feel like tinting your lace is like the key. I know a lot of people use like makeup to tint their lace, but I use True Match because if you a real hairstylist, then you know, okay? Nah, but basically it's just like a hair tint, and you spray it on the lace. And I got the color bronze. The more you spray, the darker it is. So I have to remember to like do an area and then move on, because it'll be too dark. And yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna let that kind of like sit for a minute. So yeah, this is the True Match lace tint in the color bronze. I believe they have like 4 different tints, and this is like the closest to my skin color. It kind of matches. It kind of matches the color of the cap. So anyways, back to giving you all these gems, right? So credit, work on it, and there are ways to get around, you know, getting it up so that way you can get approved for your apartment. Have income. You gotta work, you gotta have some type of source of income. Me personally, when I lived in California, I had 3 sources of income. And, you know, with that being said, I thought that I was going to be like the perfect candidate to, you know, find a place because I had all this money coming, not all this money, but, you know, like I was able to pay my bills and everything. I, you know, made sure I made at least 3 times the rent cost. But as you know, or maybe you don't, but California is so expensive. The most I was willing to pay for an apartment was $1,500 at that time. And $1,500 was basically zero in their eyes, okay? Because every apartment that I looked at in California was at least 14. Like, I don't think I saw any apartments for $1,300 or under unless they were like super raggedy, rat motel type of apartments, okay? I was not about to get nothing like this in California for under $1,500. So with that being said, and if I want to mention, if you go back to my older videos from last year, look at the apartments that I was touring in California, and like it's just like so surreal that I even have this now, but I was about to settle for something like that, okay? And anyways, so yes, make sure you have income, make sure you're able to afford at least 3 times the rent. That does sound like a lot, and it is a lot, but there are ways to get around that, okay? But let's say, you know, you make money, you have a job or 2, you have a side hustle, you have a business, you know, make sure you keep your paycheck stubs, make sure you keep W-4s, or is it W-2? I don't know. Your tax information, make sure you know, just make sure you have like your finances in order, ready and prepared, because they're going to ask you. When I moved to Texas, I no longer had all 3 sources of income. I only had about 1.5. So what I did was I was looking for jobs. As soon as I got to Texas, I was looking for jobs, and once I found one, I was able to use my offer letter to show to the apartments, to tell them that, hey, I have a job, this is how much I'm going to be making, here's my other sources of income that I have, here's how much I have with that, here's how much I'm gonna have, you know, it should be enough. And so just make sure you know, have that checked off and in order. Another thing I want to mention, which I was kind of hesitant about mentioning, because, you know, I don't really recommend this for everybody because it could backfire, or it could just be like, you know, whatever. But one thing I did when I moved out here was I did, like I said, I didn't have all of my sources of income like I did back in California. So when I moved to Texas, I put my wig on. It's still kind of wet, but I should be okay. So what I did was I started looking for jobs right away, but you know, I wasn't able to find one. So I knew that I wanted to move. I knew what type of apartment I wanted. So what I did was, when I applied to the apartments, I used my old sources of income to prove that, you know, I made 3 times the rent, and it worked out. I was able to get approved for this apartment based off, you know, my income. But like I said, like technically I no longer had that income anymore, but it was still proof. So that's why I said I don't really recommend you do that, because, you know, what if they really check to see if you still work at those places, or, you know, like what if they really, you know, whatever. But for me, I knew that whatever job that I was going to be getting in Texas, that it would have to be the same or around the same amount of money that I was making before. So that way, you know, I can continue to live my desired lifestyle. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have a job right away, you know, use whatever type of sources of income that will prove that you can afford it, basically. So that's what I did. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna put another layer of glue, and then I'm gonna put this wig on, baby. I feel like I need to tint the lace a little bit more, like around the edges. So I'm gonna spray it. One more recap to, you know, what I've said already. You know, when you first decide you wanna move, make sure you write down your goals to know like what you want for your life, what you want for yourself, where you see yourself. Make sure you are finding a place that aligns with where you see yourself. Okay, now then you want to, you know, make sure you do your research, go and visit if you can, to see if you can actually, there's one thing about, you know, manifesting, writing it down, but you actually have to put in the work. So maybe that means, you know, going to see the place, making sure you actually see yourself living in that area, in that environment. Okay, so join Facebook groups, go visit, and all of that. Ooh. Okay, now once you've got that out the way, you wanna have your credit in line and check. You want to make sure you have proof of income ready. And there are ways to get around everything, okay? Like credit not good, you know, maybe you lost a paycheck or a paycheck stub or two. There are ways to get around all of that. Just if you really want it, you'll do whatever it takes. And that's basically what I did. I made sure I did whatever I had to do to, you know, make sure I accomplished my goal. Okay, so another thing that I want to mention, and I think this is pretty much it, but once you get all that out the way, make sure you are utilizing an apartment locator. All the apartments that I went to see in Texas and made videos about, I was able to find those through an apartment locator. I was working with a few, but only one really was able to help me find, you know, the best apartments and the best deals. So like I was saying, you know, once you do all those things, or some of those things, you don't have to do anything. I'm just saying, you know, those are things that really helped me. I wanted to make sure that I was finding exactly what I wanted. And what I wanted was a luxury modern apartment. I wanted an island. I wanted stainless steel appliances. I wanted you know, garage covered parking, valet trash, amenities. I wanted everything, okay? So I made sure that I was able to get what I wanted and still be within my budget. So I reached out to an apartment locator. Like I was saying before, I reached out to quite a few, but only one was really like helpful and finding like what I wanted. Hold on, y'all, because this glue is low-key good. I got this from the beauty supply, and it's working pretty good now. Okay, I had to wait till it got a little tacky, and it laid right down. I probably should have like, you know, fix the hair so that way they won't be all glued down, but that's an easy fix. Oh my god, like the wig is really on. I might have to cut that, but okay, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm feeling myself already. I still look a mess, but I'm feeling myself, okay? Found on YouTube. Once I started like really getting serious about moving, like I said, I was doing my research. So I was on YouTube, I was on Instagram, I was everywhere trying to find, you know, what's to do out here, what it's like, you know, how much stuff costs, all of that. So that's how I ran across the first apartment locator, but she kept sending me things that were out of my budget, or if they were in my budget, they were like super ugly and old looking. So I was like, okay, girl, like you obviously don't understand the assignment. Right? So then I started working with the apartment locator that was able to find me my place, and I found her on Instagram through hashtags. All I did was hashtag DFW apartment locators, DXW luxury apartments, and her video popped up. She had, you know, one really good video. You know, now her content is bomb, but at that time she just had like this one video, and I was like, I don't really know, but the apartment that she showed is really nice, but I can only go off this one video. But you know, she seemed legit, so I hit her up, and she was super professional, super you know, helpful. I will leave her information down in the description box, so if you are looking to move to the DFW area, she can help you out. She's a realtor and an apartment locator. And so how apartment locating works is that, like I said, you know, you give them a list of things that you want in your apartment, and then they'll send you a list of things that match that, and then they'll set up tours for you. Y'all, I didn't even have to like use this band. Like, I low-key should. Yeah, okay, let me stop playing around and finish my hair. Let me cut this off. So she sent me a list of apartments. We went back and forth a few times because some of the apartments were not in the right area or not, you know, the right price. So you just have to really work with them and let them know what you want. And so that's basically all I did. And once I finally moved out here, we met up. We went to our very first apartment together. I believe it's in the very first Dallas luxury apartment tour video. That apartment, let's see, I think the first apartment that I toured in that first video was called Gramercy something. I don't know. I really don't remember any of the apartments that I toured, but we went and saw a lot, as you can tell in the videos that I have made. And so we came across this one. It happened to be like in the right area, the right price. Oh, another thing I want to mention too, I want to mention about finding an apartment. If you're looking into getting an apartment that is like new luxury, I was saying, if you're looking into getting like a newer apartment, look for apartments that have deals going on. A lot of these newer apartments, like the one that I live in, it's newly built. They're, you know, they just built it this year, you know, active construction and all of that. They're having like move-in deals. So basically I was able to get like the first month free, and then you can prorate that amount throughout the whole lease term, so that way it makes your rent lower. So make sure, you know, if you're looking into a newer place, get like a super new one, so that way they have those you know, type of move-in specials. And the service is free, so you don't have to pay anything. They get paid, I think, like commission, meaning like if you decide to rent with that apartment, then, you know, the apartment pays them. So it was free to me, it was free to use them. I just had to, like, you know, put them down as like a referral, which was cool because, like I said, it was free. And what else? That's pretty much it. I feel like I went over everything that helped me get my apartment. And yeah, I love my apartment so much. Every day I wake up and I thank God that I live here, because y'all just don't know. Y'all just don't know, you know, what I had to go through, where I came from. And this is like a really big accomplishment, a dream of mine. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to you know, say I did it. So hopefully these tips really helped you in some type of way. You know, if you knew these things already, or maybe you have better tips for someone who's looking to get their first apartment, definitely, you know, share your experience down in the comments. You know, because I feel like there's always going to be someone, you know, who needs your help. So that's why I made this video, to just share my experience on what I did and how I did it. So I'm going to finish styling my hair. I'm gonna come back probably a little later I don't know, because I don't want to do too much to it. I really like big curly hair, so this is like so cute to me, and the hair is so nice. I do not do. So this is the final look. I really hope that you enjoyed my little chit chat, my, few gems that I dropped about, how I was able to get approved for my very first own luxury apartment, how I was able to save money, and just, everything that I got into. I really hope that you took the time to learn something if possible. If, you have your own tips and tricks that you want to share, definitely leave them in the comments down below. What I did is not going to work for everyone. So, if you are not new to this but true to this, definitely help us out and let someone else know what resources are out there for people who are looking to move into their very own first apartment. So yes guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm feeling myself, okay? Your girl done did her makeup, finished her hair, and baby, I got somewhere to go.